Welcome to the Sunday Funday podcast. Your hangovers never sounded so good. I'm your host, Gil Patterson, and this is another beautiful day in Zamunda. I'm just kidding with you. It's another great day to get better because we're going to be talking about life. You, me, and the entire SFD crew here today with you. Another Sunday Funday podcast. Where your hangovers never sounded so good. Let's get to it. Welcome back, guys, to another wonderful Sunday Funday podcast. I'm your host, Akil Patterson, and today I'm thinking about three things. As summer, so as spring becomes summer, we did an episode last year. I don't know if I ever released it or not. When Summer Ends was the name of the episode. And in the episode, we talked with one of our friends who was moving over to Europe, and he talked about relationship and about a young girl that he had met. And, obviously the relationship, as Big Unk says, didn't last. I mean, not hard to think that a relationship built on summer love sometimes is very difficult to last because why? It's summer love. Don't mean a thing. But the summer nights. Yes, summer nights don't last, but those memories do. The interactions last. The way we build ourselves up as men does last. But one thing that I had to tell somebody most recently is, and I stole this from my friend John. John, shout out to you for this one. But effectively, when your kids go off to school, you tell them several things. You want to tell them get good grades, be a good student, blah, 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 blah. But as summer arrives, I'm reminded of these three things, or these four things really, that John says. Don't make life, don't take life, don't leave with it, don't bring it. And it's normally don't make life, don't take life, don't bring an STD, and don't leave with an STD. Why am I telling you all this now? Because it sounds very odd, right? Summer is approaching and you're getting ready to live the best summer of your life. There's 75 summers, remember. 75. If you live expected men, you're going to have 75 years, maybe 77, but you got 75 years, 75 seasons and 75 summers. So that means countdown. Let's say most of you all who are probably watching this show are between the ages of 19 and 30. So you've knocked out, let's say you've knocked out 22 seasons. All right. So we've got season 22 coming up. You're going on season 23. This is the first season. You're going to be out and about in the world. You're going to be making that romance, right? You're going to really settle down with somebody, or you're going to meet somebody. But you've got to start remembering that you don't make life. You don't take life. You don't bring an STD and you don't leave with an STD. That's what I used to think. And that's really kind of like the model that you use on a college campus. You don't make life, you don't take life, and you don't use STD, right? Right? No, no, guys. That celebration ain't happening. You know why? Because when we make life or we take life, either way you look at it, you need to recognize that it's your body, right? Young men, your body. So do what's right by you, right? Something could feel really good. I mean, there's an old TLC song like, don't go chasing waterfalls, right? Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't waterfalls. Ugh, the Baltimorean East Coaster in me gets all the time. Don't go chasing those waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes. You ain't ready for that thing, man. You ain't ready for the good. And again, physically, you might be out there ready to have a great time with a young lady or a young man, but at the same time, emotionally, you may not be ready for it. So when you're going on your trips, when you're having your summer travels, when you're doing your summer flings and your romances, remember a couple things. Obviously, we talk about CCD, right? Choices, consequences, and decisions. If you meet somebody, make sure that you are going to make the right choice that evening. Not forever, but just that evening. Make the right choice that night because that night can lead to a lifetime of pain, especially if it's a beautiful woman and you think she's everything, and then she turns out to be the most insane person in the world. The world. And I'll tell you why I think that. I was watching a reality show, and in the reality show, this young lady, beautiful, very smart, something wasn't right with her. And she shows up to these guys' house and like they've only known each other for like a day, day and a half. And she's like, I'm in love with you. And as I'm watching it, again, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. So the fact that I'm seeing this in the first place is just, it must have caught my eye. It's Love Undercover, something like that. Love Undercover. And the guy's like, oh man, what did I get myself into? But I think he likes crazy. I was watching. I think he's a soccer player. I think he likes crazy. But when you look at kind of the aesthetics of the whole situation, when you fall in love, man, just quickly like that, she was all over him, right? Many times we end up in those exact same scenarios, and I'll say this: I've ended up in them with some young ladies when I was younger. Um, I didn't handle it the right way. I will assure you of that. Um, I met her. She was a nice girl. She treated me well. She'd do anything I asked, and it was really fun. But she wasn't the right girl for me. She wasn't. And the fact that she would do anything for me. Come here. Anything. I'd do anything for your smile. Everything. Yes, she do anything. Yes, anything for me. That was a reference to a song from I Do Anything. It's from Oliver Twist. It's a movie that was, I think it was made in like the 60s, maybe 70s. I don't know. It's old. But yeah, I honestly believe that in those opportunities, in those moments in our lives, we might want to reflect and take a step back. Because again, a lot of these young women that you might encounter, as beautiful as they are, as gorgeous as the sun is on their face, as that light dims and you're sitting in a pool, a reflected pool, and you can see it just glistening off of her, and you're just imagine, I'm gonna butter her bread. I'm gonna make some fruit snacks out of that cake. You start to recognize this bitch is crazy, or you're crazy. I mean, because let's be honest, us men, we're not very well stable. I mean, we're not, and we make bad decisions when we're younger. So what I say, it's young men, this is your body. You have choices, consequences, and decisions, choices, consequences, and decisions. And in doing so, you have the responsibility, not only yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones, anybody you know, you have a responsibility to do the right thing. And if the right thing simply means not being a tool and getting someone pregnant, then wrap it up. I'm serious, guys. Wrap it up. Like, run it down the pipe, put a rubber band around it, and go to town. If not, make sure you're taking. Like, we've put so much pressure on other people about abortion. About abortion, like you can avoid abortion if you have wearing condoms. Men, the vasectomy for us is far cheaper, and it's reversible, right? Like, but it's also reversible. Like there's other things. There are other ways. We as a society are so consumed with other people's bodies, OPBs, other people's bodies, that we have forgotten that there is a responsibility that we have in this society, in our world, to do the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing means kicking ass, taking names, and showing up and doing what's right. We as men must do that. I think what I am fearful of is that we're not taking our responsibility serious. Governments be damned. Right? Don't worry about a government, right? I'm not worried about the government. I'm not talking about anything about government. I'm not talking about anything political. I'm talking about men taking ownership of our bodies and saying yes or no. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to wear a condom. I'm wrapping it up. I'll get a vasectomy. Like all the conversation about what you say, nothing that I said has anything to do with anyone else. It's me. Don't make life, right? Don't make life, don't take life. So the number one on the books, don't make life. Checked off. Number two, don't take life. That's right. Boom. Number two, don't take life. I know a lot of men like to play with guns and knives, and for some reason, it's built into our DNA and our society, and that's okay, right? Make sure you do it responsibly. That's what I'll tell you. Make sure that if you're going to go out bow hunting, you're trained on how to use a bow. If you're going to, and an arrow. If you're going to go out rifle hunting, make sure you know train on using a rifle, the safety practices. If you're going to use a shotgun, even if you're going to go out and shooting handguns, all right, and you're going to AR-15s, whatever you got, Kalashnikovs, whatever you're playing with, because men play with guns. Be responsible, okay? But don't be irresponsible. And I'm telling you all this because it happened to me. So I'm in Spokane, Washington. And this is literally a couple weeks ago. I'm in Spokane, Washington for a wrestling tournament. As you all know, my favorite sport is wrestling. Shout outs to my homies that are going to be going to Paris with me this year. We're at a wrestling tournament, and my buddy and I are coming back from what is the social. We're having dinner, and I drop him off at his car. He's like, "I'm parked over here in this park," and I go over there. And I see these guys and they're frantic and they're holding a baby and the baby's just kind of lifeless and dad's looking around and he's on the phone and everyone's calling. And I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I stopped. And when I stopped, I was like, "Hey, you guys okay?" And I look at the man and he goes, "My baby's been shot." And in his hands at the moment was a lifeless child, no older than 3 years old. And I said, "Hey, hey." I look at the baby and he's not moving. I look over and I go, "No worries, big dad. Come on. Let me see the baby." And I grab the baby in my arms and he's bleeding. And then he wakes up and he starts crying. But it's not a cry, it's a gurgle. He has been shot this part of his face through the back of his ear. So I went in here and out this way. And the baby's alive, and I'm holding the child in my hands. Like, "Hey, daddy, see, look, he's okay. He's okay. Just keep him calm. Keep him calm." But in my head, I'm going, "You stupid, you dumb, you decisive piece of, you are the worst type." That's what I've been thinking the entire time I'm holding this baby that is dying in my arms. And I will say this, shout out to the Spokane Police Department and EMTs and medical providers. As soon as they got wire over the radio, a child had been shot. There were 30 cops there. I ain't never seen police move that fast, ever. The baby gets shot, and and the originally the cop is like, "Lay the baby on its back," and I go, Sir, I don't think you want to do that." He goes, we know what we're doing here." And I said, I said, "Officer, the child's been shot. He's gurgling. You might want to lay him either upright or on his side so the fluid doesn't get in his lungs." And the cop, "Yeah, I think we'll do that." I'm like, "Okay, sounds like a good idea to me." Because in that moment, my pride does not matter. That baby did. Now, luckily, that child, um, he couldn't have gotten more lucky. The bullet went in the top of the cheek and went out the back of the ear. So it was here, there. So it's an upward and outward trajectory. So he survived, but he's, the mouth, the tongue, the teeth are severely damaged, and because it went here, I'm sorry, here and here, so not in here, out there, and it leaves a large. I mean, the bullet hole is about that big, and what I realized in that moment, and that's the part about don't take life. Seeing that child lifeless, even for a minute, because of shock, was bad. But when I realized that, hey, he ain't that bad. This child can do okay. We can get them to start. Like, there's gonna be a long working stuff. But then I looked over the dad. The dad was there. The dad's holding him, and it's the dad and two of his buddies. And inside, the baby was able to get a hold of a gun that was just sitting underneath the seat, just out in the console. That child almost lost its life because a father was, number one, he wasn't attentive to his child. Number two, he was hanging out with people who would have a firearm unsecured around his child. And number three, the firearm is unsecured. Folks, again, I'm not saying one way or another about guns. Doesn't bother me that people have guns. I get it. I try to treat everybody with respect. I treat everybody like they got a gun. I treat everybody like they got a knife. But in this instance right here, this is a child gaining access to a gun and shooting himself in the face, and the father is with people. It's in a car. This isn't someone's house, right? This isn't like stuffed underneath the seat of your house and you're watching TV. This is a car. It is unsecured. What if that thing goes off? What if you hit a bump and that thing goes? I'm just saying this thing is not secured in any way, shape, or form. Listen, if you are a father and you are hanging out with people who would have this type of gun unsecured in their car with your child, don't let your kid get in the car with them. Don't. Like, dads, we all know, like, you don't keep the live round in the chamber unless you know you getting ready to go at it. But this baby got shot in the face by a 23 and got something small. And now we're looking at a potential life-changing moment for this child forever. Speech, tongue, mouth, gums, hearing loss. You don't know. And it's because you're hanging out with people. So don't make life, right? Well, if you made a life, don't take that life. Do not take that child's life away who is already on this planet and was like riding a scooter and calling you daddy and he's crying for you. Dads, do not let yourself be victims of losing your child because one of your friends is a dumbass. Full stop. Dads, be good to yourself, be good to your kids. So listen here, this summer, our summer is saying this: don't make life. Number two, don't take life. Number three, don't leave with an STD and don't come home with an STD. Look, number three and four are relatively simple in my world. Wrap it up. Because STDs, although most are curable, hepatitis C is a very expensive, long process. Hep A, there's another one out there. They're asking men to get a vaccine because we can pass on cervical cancer to women from it. Like, there are just so many things. There's vaccines, there's drugs, there's medications, there's PrEP. There's so many things we can avoid global pandemics if we start taking care of ourselves. I believe that men have the ultimate responsibility, and I'm being very, very real with you all. We as men have the ultimate responsibilities to monitor and manage ourselves and our communities. We are not here for other people's enjoyment. We are not spectators in our own world. We are men dedicated to ourselves. That is improving ourselves, and that is making sure that we continue to go forward in our aspirations. Don't make life, don't take life. Come with an STD. Don't leave with an STD. Summer is here. It is upon us. Spring has gone. For those of you who are graduating, I applaud you. I applaud all those who are graduating this year. Sorry. We applaud the graduates, the class of 2024 across the United States. Congratulations to all the graduates. Congratulations to my friends who have also graduated law school this year. People have gone on to get their masters and their doctorates. You are doing good work. Congratulations on your success and your hard work. For those of you who are thinking about your next journey, remember, not everybody is meant for college. There are trade schools and there are military opportunities. Make sure you go check those out. And to those of you who are wondering what is next for me, breathe, drink water, cut grass, love the sun, and remember, you are worthy of love. My name is Akil Patterson. This has been the Sunday Funday podcast. Your hangovers never sound so good. Join me next week for another episode where I'll cover some topic. And guys, get ready. I'll be launching the new Breaking Barriers podcast. Oh man, I'm so excited about this one. The Breaking Barriers podcast. And it is going to be fire. It is going to involve Olympians, sports, and obviously money. My name is Akil Patterson. Have a great day and an even better tomorrow. Deuces.